awesome. I think we can start now. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to our City Commission virtual meeting. Today is Tuesday, October the 12th, 2021, at 7:01 p.m. Call the roll, please.
Mayor James.
Here.
Vice Mayor Salvino.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Llewellyn.
Here.
Commissioner Rodman.
Here.
City Manager Garcia.
Here.
City Attorney Ansbro.
Here.
Thank you. I'd like to have a moment of silence. And can you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the
Republic
for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Right, be seated. Good evening, everyone. We'll go right into it. First, we'll have a beach parking presentation by our Deputy City Manager, Candido Sosa Cruz.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, residents, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and City Team. Monica, Ralph, can you pull up the presentation, please?
Yes, will do.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Tonight's presentation is going to cover the complete system of the beach parking. This system includes the beach parking meters, which is the actual equipment. It includes the parking phone app, which is the app that customers download on their phone, and it includes the back-end system, which is the system that issues the tickets and mails the tickets to the customers. Next slide, please. This slide are some of the investments that the city has implemented at the Ocean Park complex, and this is just this calendar year. These investments include the beach rangers, which you're very familiar with. We've converted our parking enforcement officers to become beach rangers. We used to have one full-time parking enforcement officer and 3 part-time parking enforcement officers. Now we have 2 full-time and 2 part-time beach rangers. The beach rangers are CPR certified. The beach rangers are parking enforcement certified, and they're code enforcement certified. No longer would they just cover the parking lot area. They will now cover the pier, the sand dunes, the beach, the sand, the marina, and the park. They'll be educating the customers on our codes, on laws, on what they can bring to the beach. For example, dogs and pets are not allowed at the beach, and making sure that the beach stays clean and pristine. We've also implemented security services 7 days a week from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. Never before was there security at the marina and security at the beach. Now this year we have 2 full-time security guards, one focusing on the marina area and the second one focusing on the parking lot, the pier, and the beach area from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. Additionally, for the last 2 years, we've been focusing on the safety of the pier, replacing wooden planks, and also replacing one of the columns underneath the base shop, which was deficient. Now it's repaired and it's good for the next 10 to 20 years. This year, we're going to do a complete pier refurbishment. That's from one end to the other, from top to bottom. This investment alone is over $1.7 million. The Frank C. Tootie Adler Park, again, another great investment that we're doing this year. We're investing over $400,000 in the park. This includes new park equipment, new walking paths, new landscape, new signage. The park will be user-friendly and more inviting for everyone to use. This year, we've already completed a restroom complete renovation We're finalizing a drainage project. We're changing out the lights to be in compliance, to be turtle compliant lighting. We're going to do a complete asphalt of the parking lot, new striping, and next year we'll be finalizing the undergrounding of the utility lines. This has been a project we've been working for the last 2 years with the various utility companies such as Comcast, AT&T, FPL, and our goal by next year is all the lines will be underground. This year, we've completed a dog area in the marina. We've constructed a fenced-in area, new grass, doggy bags, a bench, and a water station for our customers when they pull in their boats. When they're at the marina, they're able to get off with their pets and go to this enclosed dog area. No longer will they have to go outside into the parking lot or to the beach with their pets. And as you know, we've invested in the Dania Beach Grill. We've hired a real estate consultant. We have a financial consultant. We've created a committee, and now we have the 3 finalists in which the commission will select. Overall, the value of all these investments are millions and millions of dollars, and we're going to continue to invest in our gem, which is our beach. Part of that investment is the parking meters. Part of that investment is the revenue that we collect to continue to reinvest in our beach. Next slide, please. Our current parking meter, this is an example of one of our current parking meters. They're over 8 years old, and as you could see, they need to be replaced. They get beat up from the harsh elements, the sun, the ocean spray, the rain, the king tide, and the technology in the meters need to be upgraded. On tonight's agenda, there's 2 resolutions. One, addressing the parking meters, replacing them and upgrading them. And the second resolution is addressing the phone app, upgrading our phone app, renewing the ticketing system, and proposing an increase in our parking fee from $2 an hour to $3 an hour. That's a $1 increase. The current parking app that we use is called Passport. A lot of people are not familiar with it. There's a higher cost for the end user, and we want to switch to a user-friendly, more popular phone app called Pay by Phone. Next slide, please. This new application, Pay by Phone, most people are familiar with and already have it downloaded. Most of the people have it downloaded on their phone. Over 35 million users already have this phone app on their phone. It's used over across 8 countries in over 400 cities, including Canada. A lot of our snowbirds come from Canada. They would already have this phone app on their phone. It's easy to use, and it's available in 12 languages. Any visitors that come from out of the country will be very familiar with this phone app. Again, one of the resolutions that we have under consent is to change our current app, which is Passport, to this Pay by Phone application. Next slide, please. Our resident annual parking pass. As you know, our resident annual parking pass is $45 plus tax. We are not recommending any changes to the resident annual parking pass. We want to leave the pass the way it is. The parking pass has not been changed since 2008, and we want to continue to leave it the way it is. The residents are happy with it. They're able to use it for the full year anywhere in the city, and that's what we're also recommending. Next slide, please. The parking fee, again, as mentioned earlier, with the city administration is recommending an increase from the current rate of $2 per hour to $3 per hour, a $1 increase. As you can see, our neighboring coastal cities, they have various parking fees from $2.25 all the way to $4 an hour. For example, Highlander Beach, they don't have an annual parking pass. They have a monthly parking pass that does not include parking in the beach. It only includes residential parking, and that's $30 per month. Again, our parking pass is $45 for the whole year, and you can park anywhere in the city. We want to leave that alone. What we're focusing on is the hourly rate of $2 going to the new rate, the proposed rate of $3 per hour. Next slide, please. That concludes the brief presentation, and I'm ready to answer any questions, please. Thank you.
Does anyone from the board have any questions? The only question I have, these aren't the individual ones, correct, that are next to each, and that allow you to pay at each individual parking meter. This is going to be centralized locations such as what we've had before?
Yes, it's the same kind of system that we had before, just a different meter equipment and a new phone app, which is the pay by phone.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Candida, for that thorough and comprehensive presentation. It was so well needed on the beach. As you know, I go on a regular basis pretty much every day, and what those meters have been needed to be replaced for a long time. I'm really concerned that we let the residents know. I know sometimes we're in our own silo when we have our commission meetings, but I'm wondering if we can bring Katia and let people know that the parking prices are going to increase, and really try to incentivize people to get those parking passes if they live here in the city, because it really is such a money saver. One ticket, I believe, is like $45. So if there's a way to get that message out to the public a little bit louder, then I think that would be greatly appreciated. But thank you for that wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner. And absolutely, we would do an outreach program to ensure that everyone understands that the fees are changing, and that they're aware of our low-cost annual parking pass. Right, thank you. If there's no more questions, that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. I know we have hands that are on the attendees, but this is not the time of the meeting. You can still have your hands raised because after the proclamations, citizens' comments will happen, and then I will be able to call on you. So please don't think I am just ignoring you. Next, we have special event request from the Tamara James Foundation to host the annual Thanksgiving drive at C.W. Thomas Park. Are there any issues with this fee waiver request? City Manager.
No, we ran it through all the departments, and we're actually recommending that the fees be waived.
All right. Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
Make a motion, Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great. Proclamations. The first proclamation is National Friends of the Library Week. I'm not sure if we have Linda Wilson in, but if we can promote her to a panelist, because I'm sure she will want to speak after I read this proclamation. Proclamation reads, whereas Friends of the Dania Beach Paul DeMaio Library raise money that enables our library to move from good to great, providing the resources for additional programming, much needed equipment, support for children's summer reading, and special events throughout the year. And whereas the works of the Friends highlight on an ongoing basis the fact that our library is the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of lifelong learning and connect with the thoughts and ideas of others from ages past to the present. And whereas the Friends understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our library gets the resources it needs to provide a wide variety of services to all ages, including access to print and electronic materials, along with expert assistance in research, readers advisory, and children's services. And whereas the Friends' gift of their time and commitment to the library sets an example for all in how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Dania Beach City Commission, I, Tamara James, Mayor of the City of Dania Beach, do hereby proclaim October 17th through the 23rd, 2021 as National Friends of Libraries Week in Dania Beach, Broward County, Florida, and urge everyone to join the Friends of the Library and thank them for all they do to make our library and community so much better. Hi, Linda. I thank you so much for requesting that this be put on the agenda, and I think it is very important. And I just want to personally thank you from our city for all of the hard work that you all do over at the libraries. Much appreciated, and I enjoy coming to all of the programs and activities that you all hold.
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say how much we appreciate the recognition from the city of Dania Beach for all we do. As you know, it is not just for the residents, although that is a major issue for us, is outreach to the community through whatever means we can do. But we also provide these services for everyone who walks into our library. Doesn't matter if they're residents, tourists, or snowbirds, we provide services to everyone and they're all free. And I want to let you know that although last year we were kind of handcuffed because of the COVID thing, we do intend in November to start very small and very limited with our classes. And we hope to be able to do the children's Go Green art classes, which are recycled art, and also for the adult art classes. And we will start slowly with those, but hopefully we will be able to expand. Right now, we are limited because we cannot have any exercise classes, but I'm hoping we're going to be able to bring back chair exercise. Anyway, I thank you all for recognizing us, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate your support.
Thank you so much, Linda. The next proclamation is in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It reads, whereas October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is an annual campaign to increase awareness of the disease and the importance of screening and early detection. And whereas 1 in 8 women born in the US today will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. And whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer diagnosed in women between ages 55 and 64 in the US. And whereas early detection is key and a mammogram can find breast cancer before it can be felt. Breast cancers found during screening exams are more likely to be smaller and confined. And whereas if breast cancer is found early, there are more treatment options and a better chance for survival. And whereas women whose breast cancer is detected at an early stage have a 93% or higher survival rate in the first 5 years. And whereas in the US in 2021, there will be an estimated 281,550 new cases of invasive breast cancer diagnosed in women and 2,650 cases diagnosed in men. And whereas there are more than 3.8 million breast cancer survivors alive in the US today, the largest group of cancer survivors in the country, and we honor former Mayor Bobby H. Grace as one of those survivors. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Dania Beach City Commission, I, Tamara James, Mayor of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Dania Beach and acknowledge that the City Commission recognizes the importance of education and awareness in combating this disease. Thank you. Next, we will have citizens' comments. If you wish to address the commission, please raise your hand and you will have 3 minutes to speak. There is actually a timer that is set up that will keep track of the time that you are speaking. The first person I am going to call on is Pastor Paul Wiggins, as his was submitted. Let's see. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please state your name and address for the record.
Reverend Paul Wiggins, 321 Southeast 3rd Street here in Dania. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor Salvino, members of the commission staff. Thank you for this opportunity. I really want to just say that I am in support of the agenda item that calls for the withdrawal of the Dania Beach Bridge project from the cities, moving forward with that. The last time we met as a commission and community, the voices of the community were extremely loud, and they expressed a desire that this bridge not be pursued at this time or never. So I'm suggesting, or at least hopeful, that the commission will listen closely to the voices of the people who would be most impacted by that bridge by voting to withdraw this from the agenda of the city. That concludes my remarks for tonight. Thank you for this opportunity, and we're looking forward for a favorable outcome on this initiative.
Thank you. Next, I see a Carol. Please unmute. I see, okay, there you go.
We pushed the button by mistake, sorry.
Oh, okay, so you don't wish to speak?
No.
Okay.
Linda for us.
Excuse me?
Linda spoke for us for the library.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Sharon Carroll. Please state your name and address for the record.
Sharon Carroll, 109 Northwest 11th Avenue, Dania Beach. Good evening. I wanted to first, I was glad to hear what was happening as far as the beach. I did have one question regarding the Dania Beach Grill and whether or not if there has been any decision or there will be any further opportunities to discuss the type of restaurant that will be coming there, and ask that hopefully it will be taken into consideration that whatever type of restaurant that we get there, that it will be something that will offer healthy options of eating, and not just burgers and hot dogs and fries. So that's my only question regarding that. I also wanted to bring up the bridge. I didn't speak last time. It doesn't affect me directly, but being a resident in the neighborhood and my parent being here his whole life, my dad, I understand where everyone is coming from. I live right off of Northwest 1st Street. One of my concerns in listening to the residents was that the safety. And I brought this up before when there were some other issues going on with Bryant Road. We need to start paying attention to the traffic that is coming through this community and the way they're coming through this community. I actually took a picture earlier in the week of some black skid marks down on Bryant Road. There's a lot of racing through this community. There's a lot of racing up and down Bryant Road. If we're not going to handle what's happening right now, what's going to happen when and if that area opens up and that bridge goes in? And then my other thought is I would hope that they do withdraw this. I'm hearing that there's a need or a desire to have it in case there's an issue with this bridge on First Avenue or First Street. But I think that if things are looked at more closely, that if they feel that there needs to be another entrance or exit down to the point that they can find that, regardless of the number of ones that are already there, but that there's another way to do this. It was stated that the First Street Bridge was closed due to safety issues. I had inquired as to why the residents, I drive over that bridge every day, why we weren't informed about that. I understand it was a leak and not a safety issue. So that's all that I have to say.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the city manager, because I know a lot of you all don't stay on to the manager's report, but to briefly give us a brief on the Dania Beach Bar and Grill as it pertains and where we are in that process.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening, Vice Mayor, commissioners, residents watching at home, and our city team. The commission will finalize their due diligence by Monday, October the 25th. We're down to 3 very, very solid proposals and companies that have been fully vetted by the committee. And we will be ready to expect a recommendation and be directed to begin negotiations on the October 26th commission meeting. And I do agree with our resident, your constituents that called in. And I think a variety of food is important. And I think it's very important to be able to also have healthy, good options on the menu as well. And in regards to the Northwest First Street Bridge, we closed it, but it had nothing to do with safety. We had to clean up because we did have a spill at Jason on Bryan Road. So the bridge is good.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Carroll. Next, Terry Hicks.
Oh, I'm here.
Hi, please
Okay.
state your name and address for the record.
This is Terry Hicks, 331 Southwest 2nd Avenue, Dania Beach, Florida. First, I'd just like to give a shout out to you, Mayor, for keeping me informed of many things that are happening and going on. And the program that you were doing with your scholarship group, the book bags, you even reached out to me and brought me a box at Christmas. So, you do so much that I think the city is not aware of. Onto the bridge was my main reason for wanting to talk today. It blows my mind that you all want to put a bridge across an area that is a quiet street where elderly people live, where children are playing in the street, where the patch is. That is a community. And I just wonder if anyone even asked the residents if they wanted that bridge. It just doesn't seem there's a need for it. My concern, though, is that let's say there's an accident on 95. People come off onto Sterling, go on to Bryant, and then you come into your new bridge and go right through at a fast speed instead of, they could just as easily go down to Griffin Road and go to US 1. But that happens very frequently. So one of my concerns, if anyone can tell me, is whatever happened to the bridge that was supposed to be built on Northeast 5th Avenue across the Dania Cutoff Canal? Because I used to be on the highway board, and I know that was a big thing. And they showed all the plans for it. How did that get lost? Because that would definitely route maybe heavy traffic that might come down Sheridan, go straight up Southeast 5th Avenue. There is a tiny section right at the Danians and the casino. That never was built, that road. And, it connects to the Northeast 5th Avenue. Then a bridge over that up to, I think it's Taylor Lane or something. And that would route a lot of cars out of Dania. I know we've all experienced when Dania Beach US 1 is packed with traffic. And I just think, we should look at, if we're going to build a bridge, we need to build one across the Dania Beach Canal at Northeast 5th Avenue. And thank you again, Mayor. I really appreciate all the help you've brought me and your family. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to have to look into that bridge on, I've never heard of that one. So maybe that was far before my time, but I've never heard of that. Did you say it was Northeast 5th?
Yes. Southeast Fifth runs all across the mangrove area.
Okay.
It stops right on Dania Beach Boulevard. If you look, you can see there is actually grass where the road should have gone, but for some reason, maybe the community there didn't want a bridge on the Dania Beach Canal, cutoff canal. But that piece of land was first supposed to, right at the edge of the east edge of the Dania Highlight, a casino. It could go right up northeast. It would cross Northeast 2nd Street and it would go to the canal, Northeast 5th Avenue. Build a bridge. If you're going to build a bridge, build one right there, which would really alleviate downtown major traffic headaches.
Okay, I'll have staff look into it and I'll give you an answer of why it didn't happen. And you can educate us all if we don't know already.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next phone number, 954-716-0312.
Good evening. My name is Kim Ford. I live at 22 Southwest 5th Avenue, and I wanted to speak in reference to the bridge that was proposed over the C10 Canal at Dania Beach Boulevard. I was on the last commission meeting, but for some reason, some technical reason probably, I was not able to speak. But I appreciate the residents that spoke against that bridge coming through our community because I wholeheartedly agree that our residential community shouldn't be devastated by a bridge that comes through it at the end of the Dania Beach Boulevard when there's already access to Dania Point by Sterling Road, Northwest 1st Street, and also Old Griffin Road. Along Dania Beach Boulevard, as the last caller said, there are families there. That's where Dania Housing Authority, Saratoga, exists, which has parking along the street for some of the residents. It is a quiet area. There's a lot of multi-family housing in our neighborhood. So it would negatively impact our community in a way that we could never recuperate from. Aside from the fact that this is a residential community, there are other factors. In addition to the other access points, the MPO representative that attended the community meeting clearly stated that a bridge there at Dania Beach Boulevard was an amenity, not a necessity, and that community input should have happened. And so it gives a lot of pause to people in the community when we were never consulted about something that would impact us in such a great way. If there was to be a bridge along the Old Griffin Road corridor, would actually be the more practical thing to do. It is where you would cut off traffic coming along US 1, and it would not come through the neighborhood, but be on the perimeter of the neighborhood. So it makes logistic sense not to do something that dissects our community, but would be on the edge of the community with Old Griffin Road. And so I have to say, I applaud the due diligence of whoever thought to pull this item off of the consent agenda, because it needed your consideration and input from the community. And a few months ago, there was a commission meeting where residents spoke so well about the preservation of the oak hammock. And I was inspired by that commission meeting because they expressed their love of their community and something that they felt was so important. It was informative, and what was, to my mind, a great thing was that the commission vacated their agenda to allow these residents who felt so strongly about preservation of their community, you vacated the agenda for them. This instance is no different. We're talking also about preserving community. In fact, the southwest and the northwest neighborhood where this bridge is proposed used to be, almost half of it was called Camp Blanding. When I was young, I only knew Camp Blanding to be the towards the west edge of the community. But during World War II, almost half of our neighborhood was called Camp Blanding because in segregated times, Black military stayed in our area because they couldn't stay at the Fort Lauderdale Airport, which was the U.S. Naval Air Station. So our community has historical. I'm sorry?
Mrs. Ford, do you have someone that's going to give you their time?
I can pull this together very quickly. Our community has historical significance as well. And for that reason, along with the fact that we're a residential community, we are asking for the commission certainly to honor our request that the bridge not come through at the end of Dania Beach Boulevard. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Pastor Ricky Young.
Can you hear me?
I can. Please state
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can. Please state your name and address for the record.
Okay. Okay, Pastor Ricky Young, 225 Northwest 7th Avenue in the beautiful city of Dania Beach, Florida. And my concern is with the pulling of the bridge on the C10 canal, and not only just to pull it for future reference, we need to go ahead and 86 it, get it totally off the agenda, not even bring it back in the future, not even come back with reword it. Need it there because the person that we were speaking with said it's not a necessity. It's just something to be added. And I think for personal reason, it's ludicrous to have another bridge just one block from two other bridges. That's crazy. One block, maybe one great, and that would destroy the community, which I doubt they can ever recover. You will have speeding vehicles coming up and down there, and if you want to widen the bridge, widen it up, you should have people foot. I'm a good there, period. You got children that's playing in that dead end homes, a daycare right on Dania Boulevard. Now you can get other access to Dania Point, Stern Road, First Street, Northwest First Street, or either Old Griffin Road. And if you want to put your money in something, strengthen and
Did we lose him? Is it just me? We lost him?
No, I can't hear.
Okay. Pastor, I think we lost you. All right. I think we're gonna move on. I'm not sure what happened. Bernard Harge. Can you unmute, Mr. Bernard?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please state your name and address for the record.
Bernard Harge, 292 Northwest 13th Court, Dania Beach, Florida. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and everybody that's sitting on the commissioner board, and plus the city manager. I just want to piggyback on some of the people and on some of the other meetings that about this bridge. you have First, you have Old Griffin, you have Sterling. That bridge, we can use that money for something else, but you have all of the daycares, you have the elderly, and having that other bridge there, is that to please outside non-residents, or is that to please the residents of city of Dania Beach? To me, is that if you put that bridge there, you're trying to have the traffic not come down through the neighborhood in order to get to Dania Point. Is that the true reason that they want to put that bridge there? Or is the true reason that nobody has never brought up this? If that bridge were to get put up, eventually they will close First Street. And then that's really going to inconvenience the people in the neighborhood. And then they're going to have to go one block over to the new bridge. That's the only thing I'm just saying is that, and I will give up my time for the rest of the whoever's online, is that the true reason that if you were to put up that bridge, eventually down the years, 10 years from now, would they want to put something on the agenda to close First Street off and let Dania Beach Boulevard be the main artway to Dania Point? Let's think about it, commissioners. Let's think about mayor and city manager. I vote not to put that bridge through that neighborhood. That's the only thing I have to say. Everybody have a nice night.
Thank you. And Ms. Ivy Cure, please state your name and address for the record.
They don't need that bridge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They don't.
Ms. Ivy? Ms. Ivy, can you hear? All right. We're going to move on. I'm sure I think we heard her speak before, if it's regarding the bridge. Let me lower her hand. Okay. Public safety reports, Captain Marks.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes, good evening.
All right, great. Good evening. Since the last commission meeting, we've responded to 1 aggravated assault, 4 aggravated batteries, 3 auto thefts, 2 motorcycle thefts, 3 burglary businesses, 9 burglary conveyances, 2 burglary residents. We did have the 1 homicide. It was of a domestic nature, and 2 days later, we arrested the subject up in Palm Beach County. We've had 1 robbery, 7 thefts, and 3 shoplifting calls. We've seen a decrease of 2 burglary conveyances, a decrease of 2 burglary residences, and a decrease of 11 thefts. We've made 40 arrests, 1 of which was a fraud and failed to redeliver a hired vehicle or rental. We conducted surveillance on a vehicle that was reported stolen out of Wilton Manors. We made contact with the driver who was in possession of the victim's keys. Further investigation revealed the suspect was in possession of heroin and drug paraphernalia. We had a loitering and prowling where our deputies observed the suspect casing an area, looking into vehicles in a hotel parking lot. The suspect had an extensive burglary history and he was transported to the main jail. We had a grand theft of a motor vehicle where deputies responded to the area of an LPR hit, which is our license plate readers that have been quite successful for us. The vehicle was located and the subject was arrested. Our crime suppression team executed 1 narcotic search warrant on a narcotics dealer. We charged him with 8 felony counts related to selling narcotics to our undercover deputies. We recovered 5 stolen vehicles, resulting in the arrest of 6 individuals. We made 10 total felony arrests for the period since the last commission. Our criminal investigations division made an auto theft arrest. We had a moped scooter that was reported stolen, and a few hours later, it was located on the roadway. A traffic stop was initiated. 2 suspects involved were charged accordingly and transported to the main jail. Another grand theft auto where we received an LPR hit on a stolen Hyundai Sonata. A traffic stop was conducted and we arrested that driver as well. Yet another grand theft auto where a subject was arrested after he was identified as the one who sold the victim stolen Chevy Express van, and that was stolen out of Dania Beach as well. Our motor unit continued school zone enforcement at Fulton Middle School and Dania Elementary. We also continued enforcement along Southeast 5th Ave due to prior complaints in that area. Our homeless outreach team has been quite busy. Over the course of 2 months, our deputies assisted a chronic homeless client establish contact and conduct virtual appointments on their personal mobile device with the Social Security Administration. They assisted him in obtaining computer access to his account at the library, obtain his personal documents, birth certificate, Social Security card, and others in an effort to expedite his benefits. As of 10/7, he finalized this process and will begin receiving financial assistance in 2 weeks, which will aid him in obtaining permanent housing. An update will follow at the next commission meeting. We also assisted a disabled veteran who's experiencing a homeless crisis situation. We helped him obtain temporary lodging at a motel with his elementary age child. We facilitated obtaining and completing the proper paperwork with the Veterans Network to receive financial assistance with his first, last, and security for a proper living environment for his daughter to prevent anything from like this happening again. We assisted Road Patrol in locating a chronic homeless client who was experiencing a mental suicidal crisis. Our deputies had built a strong rapport with this client and were involved in the search, which included our helicopter to provide her exact location to dispatch. This allowed deputies to take proper measures and to receive proper medical. We continue to work closely with code enforcement to address areas of concern where homeless clients tend to congregate, maintaining like overgrown hedges and shrubbery where sometimes they will set up camp. I also want to thank the mayor for bringing up a program we didn't even know about. Over the last couple of days, we've had the opportunity to research it. So thank you, Mayor. And we're working on trying to access some of those funds, and I will keep everybody posted. The program is to provide temporary housing for homeless people of the city. So we're working on that diligently, and I'll keep everybody posted. That completes my report.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me the update on that. I think if it's something that we can access some funding to and allow some of our homeless or people who are in a very difficult bind right now, especially with families, I think that it would be a great asset for us. So thank you for looking into that.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Chief Pelisar.
Good evening, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, and our great citizens of Dania Beach. I want to start off by saying since the last commission meeting, our units have responded, Station 1 and Station 17 units have responded to 264 calls. This month, the month of October, is our fire prevention month. So our crews have been busy going around the elementary schools. And what we're doing along with our fire prevention education team is going inside the classroom and teaching the kids about, fire prevention, what to do in case of a fire, how to keep themselves safe. And once we complete that inside the classroom, each classroom comes out and gets to look at the fire truck and look at the different tools and equipments that we use and actually hold them in their hands. So you can just imagine the wows and the awes that we get from these little kids. So they're learning and they're getting some knowledge on fire prevention. Our crews have been extremely busy. We've been training on to get ready for our accreditation which will come next April and May. And there's 2 accreditations that we're working on. We're working on the CAAS, which is a commission on the accreditations of ambulances, and our CFI, which is a commission on fire accreditation international. And what we do with that is we make sure that we keep the gold standard, which we currently have as far as our ambulances go, make sure that everything is working perfectly, making sure that we're checking everything the way we're supposed to check it out. And there are crews are highly educated. So when the assessors comes, they're trained and ready to answer any questions and meet be above the current industry standards. And that's what we work for, because we take pride in what we do. And I think that's the most important thing for our crews and keeps our citizens safe. And lastly, I started working on setting up the Christmas toy drive. So I'll bring more information at the commission meeting with that. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Next, we have the consent agenda. Do we have any pulls? I wish to pull 7.3.
I wish to pull 7.8.
Motion to approve with the exception of, I'm sorry, what did you say, 7.4?
7.3 and 7.8.
7.3 and 7.8.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
7.3 is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, authorizing our city officials to execute and accept the agreement with Bencor Inc. to implement with a special pay plan governed by the Internal Revenue Code, Section 401A, and a FICA alternative plan governed by the Internal Revenue Service as an approved qualified retirement plan, effective upon approval for actively working non-union employees and effective pending collective bargaining for union-covered employees, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date, a human resources item.
Yes, thank you, Tom. I have a question regarding this. I had a little time after our CRA meeting to really read in between it. I'm just not sure why it would be effective upon approval tonight, just for the non-union employees, when the union covered employees haven't done their bargaining and the new contract doesn't take effect, that we haven't even bargained for till October 1st. So I don't understand why one group can get that benefit and not the other group even having a chance. I can understand it if we were bargaining right now, and that's a bargaining tool. I understand that, but as far as we don't even have the union covered employees don't even have an option at this time, other than and the other employees do. So I just wanted clarification on this.
Mayor, if I may, and then I'll turn it over to Linda. We have been doing a total overhaul of anything that can possibly be a benefit to our employees and a benefit to our city, as you know. So when our HR team did the research and found an opportunity that would be a win-win for employees and for the city at the same time, we wanted to move forward as quickly as possible. So we can get started with existing employees that want to participate. As soon as we begin negotiation with the union, we believe that this is something that the union will be able to support as well. You have an option to wait until we have the negotiations in place, but I think that when there's an opportunity in place that is a win-win for the city and for the non-union employees, I think we should be able to do this immediately. And maybe when we get into negotiations, we can find a way to tie it back up, be it retroactive, and look at all the options for bargaining. But what I'll do is I'll turn it over to Linda, and she can give you more of the details.
Good evening, everyone. This is Linda Gonzalez. I think the manager gave a really great summary. There's a contract for collective bargaining, and we are not allowed, to give benefits to the union unless there is a waiver of bargaining that's done. And we have done that several times already for multiple benefits. but there's really no reason why we cannot proceed with this benefit for the non-union employees at this time. It doesn't cost the city anything. It actually represents a savings for the city and for the employees. It's a wonderful benefit, and collective bargaining requires that we negotiate benefits with the union. So the union will absolutely have an opportunity to negotiate for those benefits soon. Hopefully we'll start negotiations in March, and that will be something for them in the future. But we would like to, we'd like to proceed for non-union employees at this time.
Thank you for that. I just don't think I like the fact that we have another 12 months until employees who are not union members can even have that benefit. And I do know of once where we waived the collective bargaining agreement for a benefit, but I mean, I don't know about several times this year that we've done that. At any rate, I just think that if it's something that is going to benefit our employees and something that is going to benefit the city, if the union hasn't turned it down, that's just me personally. I just don't agree with giving part of our employees a benefit and the other part not, especially when they haven't even bargained for it yet. But that's just my opinion, and I wanted to make sure I fully understood it before I made my decision on it.
If I may, Mayor, we've given 3 benefits to the union without any required bargaining, which in my experience and career is extremely unusual. We've asked the union for several things this year, which were turned down without any discussion, such as acceptance of our PPM. But we, on the other hand, as a city, have given them long-term disability, which is a tremendous benefit. We have increased their life insurance from $50,000 to $100,000. And we've also given them Juneteenth without anything coming back from the union. When we did ask for acceptance of our PPM, that was again met with a refusal to even have a discussion about it. So I think we've been more than generous. Again, from my experience, it's unusual to give benefits without collective bargaining. We've done that 3 times. And this is something that we absolutely would love to be able to give to the union through bargaining, which they may or may not accept. So that is something that we intend to do when the time presents itself.
Yes, and Mayor, if I may, it's also a savings to the city. So for us to be, financially and fiscally sound, if we have discovered an opportunity that's a win-win, I think that we should exercise it as soon as possible. And I can concur with Linda that it's very unusual to have not 1, not 2, but 3 times where we waived union negotiation. And I think, it puts us at a disadvantage if we continue to do so. So my recommendation.
I understand the negotiations with unions, and I do understand. I mean, for Juneteenth, that wasn't set on ever as a recommendation. That was actually pulled and discussed. I actually discussed that with staff because it was going to be the same like this one. And I guess I just have a problem with how the whole process is set up, because if the last time we did this agreement with the union, you do all of this work with us sitting at the shade room meetings with the attorneys, with the city manager, with everyone else, and we're doing all this work with the union, yet non-union employees get the benefit October 1, and our other employees of the union didn't even get retroactive pay. And so that's the issue. I guess that's the issue that I have, that we bring things that is great for our entire city. I read the backup that said, I think we would save $41,000 over the 5 years or something like that with the amount of people that retired. I mean, it's not millions, but we need every penny we can get in order to do the programming that we need to do. And I understand that. It's just something that I just don't agree with. So we can just move on.
And if I can just make one more comment, please, just to respond. The negotiation process and the collective bargaining that is required, it's required by law. It's a process that's set up by the Public Employee Relations Commission. It's not really an option. So I really, we intend to follow it, whatever happened, in the past, I'm not completely familiar with, but I can tell you that we do everything we can do to make sure that we follow the law, follow the regulations. We will conduct good faith negotiations with the union with every attempt to give them this benefit when the time is appropriate.
Thanks. And just for clarification, I wasn't saying on record that we did anything illegal with the commission or the management that was here prior. I was just stating the entire process, how it is. I don't really agree with it. Do we have any other comments or?
I'll move to approve 7.3.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Llewellyn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Salvino,
Yes.
Mayor James.
No.
Motion carries 4-1.
7.8.
Is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, authorizing the City Commission to enter into an employment agreement with Eve A. Bootsis as city attorney, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
Commissioner Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I did want to bring this to the public because I'm having serious concerns with the kinds of items that are coming on a consent agenda. And this is another one. We are talking about the second most important leadership position in the city. It is a position over $200,000. It is a position that I understand that there was a succession plan prior to me coming. But my issue with it being on the consent agenda is that it lacks full transparency. We're supposed to have full transparency in everything that we do. And I think when it seems that decisions are made behind closed doors, the public is not aware of it, the public does not know, the public cannot weigh in on it, then it becomes a problem for me personally. I've spoken to attorney Eve Bootsis, and I believe I don't have any personal issue with her. I don't have any, issue with her qualifications and being able to do the job. But when my residents come to me and they say, Commissioner Davis, why didn't you tell us about this? How is it that we did not know? What did you do? The major thing that it does for me is it prevents me from doing my due diligence. And if you don't like anything else that I do, I'm one who likes to do my research. I'm the one who likes to do my education. And I like to go back and I like to be able to look my residents in the eyes and say, you know what? I've done everything in my power to make sure that you have the absolute best city attorney. And I would love to be able to say, I've done my due process, I've done my due diligence, and there is nobody better than City Attorney Eve Bootsis. But I cannot do that when I am prevented from doing my due diligence. And so that is an issue for me. And I understand that I wasn't here 2 years ago when the succession plan came. However, the residents elected me to be here for this time, in this moment, for the decisions that come before this commission currently. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm coming for Eve or that I have any issues with her, because I don't. I have a problem with the lack of transparency and the lack of due diligence that I can do for the residents. There's succession plans all the time. The vice president doesn't just become the president without a discussion, without a process. The lieutenant governor doesn't just become the governor without a process, without discussion. So I'm just asking, at minimum, I think this deserves a discussion. At maximum, I think it should have the process. Thank you.
Commissioner Ottman.
Hi, thanks. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yes.
Well, if we're going to have a discussion, I'll be real quick about my 2 cents on it. Besides always pronouncing her last name wrong, working with Eve has been a really a bright light in the last few, however many months, year it's been since she's been here. She's incredibly fast, and I've done my due diligence on her her requests, her salary requests, and her anything else that she asked for, and it's all absolutely appropriate and I really can't say enough about her. There's some people at City Hall that, beyond just being a joy to work with, are incredibly effective and are incredibly professional. And she checks both of those boxes for me, and has been able to help me on some really complicated matters. And yet is very accessible. I can at any time text message her a question, and say, and she's able to help me understand the subject that perhaps I don't understand because I don't speak the legalese perfectly, or maybe I just need clarification on the topic. And she's worth every penny, and we are lucky that she wants to stay with us, and I hope she stays with us for a very, very long time. So that's my addition to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Llewellyn.
Thank you. I appreciate wanting to have a process. However, there was a process that did take place 2 years ago. At that time, first there was an RFP that went out for city attorney. We then ended up deciding to go with looking for an assistant city attorney. And part of the whole process of hiring an assistant city attorney at that time was to bring somebody in who could literally step into the shoes of the current city attorney, and have some time over the next couple of years to learn the institutional knowledge about this city. And that is what Eve has done. And Eve was head and shoulders above every other candidate that applied the last time. And I mean, I personally looked at the resumes, and what I saw, honestly, was what typically happens when you put out a position for a city attorney or assistant city attorney, is you get a whole lot of attorneys who apply that have no qualifications whatsoever, and then you get a few that are pretty good, and every once in a while you get lucky that you get someone that's really good, and that's what we got this time. And Eve she's saved the city a ton of money. She has brought in money to the city. She has done a great job of being responsive. And that was what we were looking to do, was to bring somebody in who had the experience, who could literally step into Tom's shoes in the event that Tom, if something happened, or if Tom left, or whatever the case may be. And to go out and look for another person at this point who maybe good, maybe just as good, but who does not have that institutional knowledge, and to try to bring somebody in and bring them up to speed, which she's been doing for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, to me seems like, one, a waste of time, and two, seems like it is not really what we had originally talked about doing. And that there was a very significant discussion about this, and it was all on public record. It's out there. Lots of people knew about it. At the time, I know I was getting lots of calls about it. I was talking to residents about it, making sure that they understood, what was going on and why we were doing it this way, and what the plan was. So if there are residents that are continuing to approach you and are continuing to question the decision making on this, I'm sure that we can pull those meeting minutes from when that happened initially and provide them to the public, and make sure they're aware that there was a lot of due diligence that went into this initial process. So with that in mind, I would be in favor of this item, and I think we are very fortunate, and we are very lucky to have somebody as qualified as Eve be our next city attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So anyhow, I feel that on this particular subject, I have a belief as a business person that a person should be promoted from within. And I think that going back, reiterating on what Commissioner Llewellyn just said about the process, and also Commissioner Oddman, when they said that this was done a couple of years ago when she was hired, we went through this process. At that time, we trusted our decision-making on our staff again. I'm a firm believer in staff. I'm a firm believer in following the process that our staff does. And I believe that Eve has done a good job for the year that I've been in office. I have not seen anything that could cause us to question her abilities as our deputy city attorney. So, I don't know. I know. Listen, as far as the Commissioner Davis goes, I understand some of the questions she may get from some of the residents and so on. But again, we were all elected by our residents to make these decisions, and these decisions are here for us to work with. And I think that, as you can see right now, that most of us are inclined to give Eve an opportunity. And as a group of commissioners up here, if she does something wrong, we are in charge of making that decision to make a change. But to challenge someone that's doing a good job right now, I think it just brings down the motivation and the enthusiasm of that person doing a good job. So I'm in favor of continuing to give Eve an opportunity. And if we have to go down the road, if she doesn't do her job, then we go back and start over again. But right now, I'm in favor of keeping her on. So and passing consent agenda. Was it 9.8 or whatever it is? Yeah, 7.8.
Okay, I'll make a, well, we still have Commissioner Davis, and I do want to comment very briefly on it. I will say, I do understand Commissioner Davis's frustration. And I don't think that anything that she is saying, in my opinion, has said that Eve is not qualified for the position, or that she doesn't agree with Eve taking her place. I do know that we did have a lot of lengthy discussions, and we did have an RFP, and we had a lot of public discussions, and we did make those decisions knowing that the person that we were going to, or Tom was going to hire, would eventually take on that role. And so I think that's at the commission at the time, that was our thought process behind everything. I will say that I understand her frustration with things going on consent, because if you are a new commissioner, if you are newly elected and you haven't really served in this office, when things are under consent, they don't get discussed, and that is the part that I think that she feels lacked the transparency. But then again, she also wasn't here for those other discussions. So I do think going back on things, if I could do it again, maybe we would have it as a discussion and possible action. But obviously, for that discussion and possible action, for a recommendation to have Eve in this role, because it is an important role, and we do want to show that transparency. I'm very big on transparency as well. So I do, if Commissioner Davis feels like that part of the process was flawed, I apologize. And I would want to just get better at that, because I want us all to feel like, we're being very transparent to our residents and our constituents, and that we're doing our due diligence with all of the information. And that's all I have. And then after Commissioner Davis, and we can move on.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and I'll be brief about this. I will just say that, I understand and I appreciate the hard work that Assistant Attorney Lucis has done. But at the end of the day, it is, to me, about being fully transparent. And whenever I feel that something is not transparent and it goes through without the public being able to weigh in it, well, while I'm here, I understand you had your process before, but it's the way that it was done. And, but at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with her becoming the next city attorney. I just have a problem with the way that it happened. So with that, I will stand with my colleagues, but I just want us to be mindful with the way and the type of things that we put on this consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve 7.8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we'll go straight to our public hearings.
Thank you, everyone. 9.1 is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, repealing Section 2-30 entitled Individual Campaign Contribution Requirements of Article 2 entitled Requirements for City Employment of Chapter 2, which in chapter is titled Administration of the City Code of Ordinances, due to preemption by the state of Florida of the city's monetary limitations on campaign contributions and campaign contributors, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, further providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance.
This is a public hearing. Anyone here to speak for or against this?
Make a motion, move the item, Mayor.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 9-2.
9.2 is a quasi judicial matter, meaning that anybody who's going to speak on this, including staff, has to be sworn to take an oath. And if anybody has contacted you either for or against that, you would disclose that under what's called the Jennings rule, because it's a quasi judicial matter. So well, before we have Corinne to be sworn in. Anybody from Daniel Live is speaking here? No, okay. All right, Corinne, do you swear from the testimony you'll give will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, yes.
Okay, this ordinance is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the request made by Greenspoon Martyr on behalf of the property owners, Daniel Live 1748-2 LLC and Kimco Realty Corporation, approving a plat note amendment, DR 05421, for property located north of Sterling Road, east of Interstate 95, and west of Bryan Road in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy of which is attached to this ordinance, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. Second reading of this ordinance as well.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. This is Corinne LaJoy, Assistant Director in Community Development. This is second reading of the Plat Note Amendment. At the last meeting, we did a presentation for Plat Note Amendment. It is for Dania Point, and this is where they are requesting to amend the uses a little bit in the plat. They're amending the commercial square footage. They're eliminating a bank use, and they're adding 400 residential units to the plat itself. All of these are consistent with the development design guidelines that regulate the development on the site. I do have the presentation if you'd like me to go through that again, I can, but I know that the applicant and their attorney, Dennis Mealy, is ready to answer any questions you may have as well.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
I break motion pass item.
Second.
1.2.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 9-3.
Is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 12 of the City Code entitled Flood Damage Prevention by creating Article 17 entitled Seawalls, adopting the required standards for seawall height as mandated by Broward County, and by amending Chapter 28 of the City Code entitled Land Development Code, Article 240 entitled Docks and Mooring Structures, to add Section 240-30 entitled Seawalls to reference the required standards, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, further providing for an effective date. First reading of this ordinance.
This is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this?
Good evening, Mayor. I have a presentation.
You're gonna mess up stuff like that. Go ahead. You're rocking and rolling. You're rocking and rolling. Don't flow.
No presentation. Mayor should
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Time to share my screen. It says host disabled participant.
Not gonna meet our deadline. Everybody blame Eleanor.
I'll wrap it up. All right. Monica, can you help me share my screen? It's telling me the host disabled participant screen sharing.
You should be good now.
Yes. All right, thank you guys. I'll be very, very brief, I promise. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Tonight I'll be discussing resiliency standards for tidal flood barriers, more commonly known as seawalls. This is a text amendment amending the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 12, Flood Damage Prevention, and Article 240 of the Land Development Code, Docks and Mooring Structures. The intent of this text amendment is to protect people and property from sea level rise. Broward County has set a new regional standard for tidal barriers to address future sea level rise. Consistent heights of tidal flood barriers are necessary to protect communities from escalating flood impacts. And all Broward County cities with tidal influence areas are required to adopt this new regional standard by February 2022. So what is the new standard? Any new, substantially improved or repaired tidal flood barrier shall have a minimum elevation height of 5 foot NAVD, meaning any new construction of seawalls, boat docks, ramps, lifts, etc., will need to meet the new 5-foot minimum elevation height. Any modification, improvement, or repair to an existing seawall more than 50% of the length of the property shoreline, or if the modification exceeds 50% of the cost of the existing seawall, must also meet the 5-foot elevation requirement. The city may grant a 4-foot elevation height allowance up until the year 2035, as long as that project is designed and constructed to meet that additional foot elevation by year 2050. The new standard also requires property owners to maintain existing seawalls in good repair. It requires property owners to prevent tidal floodwaters from entering their property and impacting others. It also provides a timeline of 365 days for compliance if any repairs are cited. P&Z, on August 11th, P&Z unanimously voted to recommend approval for this item. Staff also recommends approval of this text amendment on first reading. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I am here. As brief as I can be.
That was awesome. And with that, this is a public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this? Do you have a motion and a second?
I'll move.
Make a motion.
Then I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Discussion and possible action. Really quickly, in the spirit of transparency, I was going to withdraw this item, but since it's on there, I was just going to let you all know that I've been working with the city manager on not just the ending of the 50/50 sidewalk program, but working more comprehensively with the city manager to make sure that while we are doing many things with our infrastructure, that we work on a replacement plan for our sidewalks. And I'll let the city manager speak a little bit about it.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We've been working very closely with our public services team, with Fernando and Dinser, our city engineer, to do a full assessment, as you know, of our roads. And we have actually cast a wider net to do a complete assessment of our sidewalks, and be able to have a capital improvement plan, as we do every year for things like drainage and streets, to also be able to do it with sidewalks. We do recommend that the code remains the same, but the city take on the responsibility of the actual cost of the sidewalks. What we would like to do is ensure that the residents communicate to us if there's any issues regarding sidewalks, so they can be addressed. And so once we put the comprehensive game plan in place, we would come every year during budget, or in this case, we might do a mid-year budget adjustment when we're ready with the report, and begin to address things from the highest priority to the lowest priority, and have a maintenance plan for our sidewalks as well. And key with this is to leave the code as is, to make sure the city is as protected as possible when it comes to liability. So it's a win-win for our residents, but still protects our city.
Thank you so much for that. So we'll have more updates coming along in the near future regarding that. So
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing else to say about that. Commissioner comments? Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I think I only attended one event, if my memory serves me correctly, which was the grand opening of the Marriott hotels, which was wonderful over here in Dania Point. We are doing a lot of great things. It's a very exciting time in our city. And I just wanted to say it's a pleasure to see our city grow and to be able to work with this commission in order to do so. Thank you.
Commissioner Llewellyn?
Yes, I attended the Broward County Resiliency Roundtable, which is the county-wide resiliency team that has been working for many years now, and making some changes, discussing things that need to be done within the city, and actually putting things into action to try to affect climate change, and try to address problems with sea level rise and that sort of thing throughout the county. In addition to just the committee being present, There was also presentations by the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as the South Florida Water Management District, as well as each of the cities. Some cities participated, not all did, but the majority of us did. I attended along with our city engineer, Dinser. We both presented some items, and it's just interesting to know that we are either at about the same place as other cities or a little bit ahead as far as the things that we are doing already as a city. There's a number of different items that are being passed through the county, and a number of items that are coming up to be passed through the county. And so I'm going to be putting through several resolutions over the next couple of months, either adopting or creating our own resolutions that are similar to what the county is doing so that we can all be consistent. But it's good to see so many people in the county are all taking this very seriously and making efforts with city staff in each city to try to combat sea level rise and climate change, and trying to do things to be proactive as opposed to reactive. So it was a very informative meeting, and it was very well attended. So with that, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ottman.
Hi, I didn't have any comments, but I was listening to what Commissioner Llewellyn said, and this is similar to a discussion that I recently had with City Manager Garcia, that, you know, climate resiliency, in Orlando, they have the lead building council. In St. Petersburg, they have extensive green building standards committees, and all these things are, you know, kind of in the same bucket, right? Like addressing climate change, resiliency, sustainable building practices, doing things that are going to have a lightened effect on our infrastructure, things that are going to help, at the very least, not exacerbate flooding, but in some cases help flooding. And right now, all over the country, there's tremendous movement in that area. And as Commissioner Llewellyn said, the county is really ramping up on that as well. And when I spoke with City Manager Garcia, she seemed open to looking at some of the things I had suggested to see what we can do to bring ourselves in line with, or to work on being one of these cities like Orlando or St. Petersburg that are just leading the way and doing some really amazing work. And you know, I said two big cities, but really there's lots of little cities, like really, really little cities in Florida that have just, you know, taken this on and done, you know, with their tiny budgets have managed to make some really impactful things that seem to have been well received by the residents. So I think it's a great fit for Dania Beach, and I think that this coming year, I'm hopeful that we'll make more moves in that area. But besides that, I have nothing else, and thank you and good night.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Guess what?
Nothing.
I guess I have something to say tonight.
Ah, awesome.
First of all, over the last couple of weeks, I just want to know that I've been doing a couple things that have required a lot of conversation with the city manager and assistant city manager, deputy city manager, and all these things that were just probably the requests that I get from residents to have certain situations try to be fixed throughout the city. I have to commend the whole administration for what we have. Residents of Dania Beach should be very happy with what we have. They all of the departments. I'm not even going to name them all, but you know, you just see how they continue to clean our streets. They look at the US 1. They keep trimming trees. Our city looks better and better every day, and I just want to send a thank you to everybody there. First of all, secondly, I attended the American Cancer Society, the GWA, the MMA boxing match at the Casino Dania Beach. It was a total success over there for the first one. It's over there. If anybody didn't go and see it, you missed out. They did a great layout on it. There's some pictures on Facebook if you look it up. I know they raised a lot of money for the Dania Beach Lions Club, and I think they raised a lot of money for the American Cancer Society. They're going to have another one for a toy drive in December, so keep that in mind if you want to help participate and bring us a wrap toy for Christmas. I do want to talk about just for a second about what happened on the consent agenda. I think that some of the things that, and I respect Commissioner Davis's thoughts on that about transparency and so on. I'm not sure whether or not we can get, most of the stuff that goes on consent is pretty simple. And, and she's right as far as, the second highest position in our city, the city attorney. I think certain things like that, maybe we should get a little bit of an opportunity to discuss that on, as the mayor said, discussions and so on, before it goes to, it can't go to consent, but maybe it should go up for discussion first so that we do allow everybody to hear what's going on. But I still believe in the way that we do with hiring within, but I think that we can all come to an agreement to please all the commission and to please the residents as well. We can work on something like that as maybe some kind of a systematic way of doing things on important positions as such. I'm going to ask, I'm going to tell you that I am doing my due diligence as far as the Dania Beach Grill goes. I know comments that come up, people are still asking questions. They're uninformed or not paying attention or whatever is happening. But, we are, as the city manager did address, we are in the process. And I know the next meeting we have on I think it's the 28th this month, we will select the next owner or proprietor of the Dania Beach Grill. And I do want you to know that I am doing my due diligence. I have already been to 2 of the 3, checking them out. I'm not going to say which ones, I'm not going to bring it out there, but I am going to these places. I'm checking it out so that when I can speak on this large decision that the city commissioner's got to make, which will be a long time decision for us to all deal with. I'm hoping I can give you my explanation of why I made this decision so that everybody will understand where I'm coming from and why I did it. I'm going to ask the city manager or city or anybody that wants to speak in the city on the bridge situation. I know we've gone over it and over, and I keep hearing certain things about instead of building a bridge, which we have already agreed that's not going to go up, but they keep talking about putting the money somewhere else, putting money somewhere else. I think the residents need to be informed where that money was coming from and what it was designated for, not that it's just been sitting there floating around. Maybe we can express to the residents so they understand how that money was coming and so on. Maybe you can do that in your report, city managers, if that's possible.
Absolutely.
And that's pretty much all I have to say. And besides some of the other things that I did attend, the same things that everybody did at the Marriotts. Those Marriotts are absolutely beautiful. Everybody should go by there and walk inside. Try the lounge out. We'll ask them, tell them that you're a city resident. Just ask them for a tour, and they're very hospitable there. They'll show you around. I know that for a fact that some of the people that I deal with in other parts of my other business have already secured many, and this is coming out of Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale. They're coming to Dania Beach and securing their meeting rooms and to already have events coming there. Many events, up to 4 or 5 already. That they have talked about having the Marriott. So we are drawing people from other cities to our city to host certain things like that. So we should be proud of that. Thank you very much. And it's your turn, Mayor James.
Thank you. I'll have 2 quick things. I was able to visit Dania Elementary again today, and I spoke with their debate director. They have a debate team, and they often do debates with or conduct debates with different schools. I volunteered all of us. Yeah, to have a debate night at Dania Elementary. It'll probably be best maybe in February, I think, because that'll give them a few under their belt, but I thought it would be fun. I don't know if any one of us have debate background. I know that we do have an attorney, so maybe she can help bring us to victory, but I just thought that it would be a good community engaging activity for all of us, team bonding type of activity with all of us, and it would be something fun that we can do with the students in our community. So I don't know how you all feel about it, but I did already volunteer us. You can feel free to decline.
Just so you know, Mayor, I was debate champion.
Oh, we're winning. We're winning. Now, if we get shown up by 5th graders, I just
okay?
I just thought it would be something different, something cool, something that, is not always contentious or tied to, a vote here or there, and something that we can all show that we are really doing work within our communities and our students outside of our jobs here at City Hall or virtually wherever we are. So more information for that will come as soon as they have a date. You can decide to be a part of it or not. I just thought that it would be fun. I'm going to take part in it. And so you all can let me know at that time. If not, if we don't have at least 5, we'll start soliciting some of the city staff to participate with us for the debate. Again, it'll probably be somewhere in February or March of next year, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And with that, we'll go right to our appointments. Dania Beach Housing Authority. I have 2 appointments. For the appointments, I want to select Kyrie Pozo. She lives at 1101 West Dania Beach Boulevard, Unit 403, Tom.
Mayor, does Kyrie still live there? I thought she moved out of the city.
No, she still lives there. I spoke with her today and confirmed.
Mayor, is this for your first appointment to fill Bill Winkerholtz's?
No, this is for the other one. Because she lives in Saratoga.
Okay, very good. And her name, her last name is what now?
Pozo.
Okay, got it.
Probably mispronouncing it. And then the second one to fill Bill Winkelholtz's term is Ivy Cure. I don't have any other appointments for the Airport Advisory Board. Again, if anyone wants to serve on that, or if any of you all have people that want to serve on that, you can feel free. Anyone else have any appointments?
I have a question. Tom,
yes.
Are you still forwarding us the request forms of people who want to come in?
Yes, when we received the board interest forms, they're forwarded to you. We have not received any recently, and I'm going to have ask Katia to advertise it on our social media again, because I know you're having a hard time.
Yeah, we are, because I feel like pretty regularly we would get a decent amount of those forms, and then we could call them and screen them and figure out if they're appropriate. But I haven't gotten anything in ages. So yeah, that'd be great if you could have that for a little while, and hopefully we can get something, because I feel terrible for all these boards that are trying to move forward and we're just kind of failing them a little bit.
Vice Mayor.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you. Part of the thing that Commissioner Alvin just said, are these boards even meeting yet? We're still appointing people, and are we? How about a report on how many boards have met, how many people are showing up, and who's not showing up? And that's as far as I think we should review once a year on this. And if our appointees aren't working, if we're meeting, that's why I don't know if we're meeting or not.
Yes,
we should review who's coming and who's not, so that we make these boards effective. So can I ask for I guess a roll call on all those boards for to be handed out to the commission?
Yes, we can provide you with attendance sheets. I will tell you that they have been meeting. Since your appointment to the Education Board has not been attending, they no longer have a quorum, so they have suspended their meetings for that particular board. But all the other boards, with possibly the exception of the Airport Advisory Board, have been meeting virtually.
Okay, I'll make sure I get an appointment for the Educational Board back. I didn't even see it until she just told me. Sorry. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a motion in a second to approve the appointments?
Make a motion, Mayor, to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Administrative reports.
Yes, good evening, everyone. A couple of months ago, I met with Mayor James in the area of the Mildred Jones Park. So we take care of the day-to-day, and we have a plan every day in regards to what we need to do. But then there are days that things come up out of the blue that we have to address immediately. There had been a fire at the deck at Mildred Jones Park. We went over there, we assessed everything. We could have just fixed it and patched it up. We met with our city engineer, and I just wanted to report to you. I went by today. The construction project on the Mildred Jones deck is complete, and it looks beautiful. And I wanted to congratulate our public services team. So it really, really does look amazing. I'm going to go out of order real quick because I wanted to address what the vice mayor had asked me to address regarding the MPO. This afternoon, I had a conference call, a lengthy call with Commissioner Llewellyn, who is your representative at the MPO. Even though it's customary that the city loses its money when they turn down a project, one of the things that we discuss, and I do believe, like her, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We're going to draft a letter on behalf of our city to see if those monies could be reappropriated, if not now, in the future. Our city is growing, and our roads are, thousands of people come through our roads every day. And I believe that there could possibly be an opportunity to be able to get those monies come back to a city for another project. So I wanted to thank Commissioner Llewellyn. We're working on a draft, and that we'll bring to the next commission meeting. If you are all supportive, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So we're going to move forward with that. I also wanted to let you know that last week, September 29th, the CAC board did not have a quorum, but they had a really good discussion, and our staff joined in. And we just wanted to let you all know that the staff is there to support the board. We're not voting members. We're there to facilitate these projects and be able to move the objectives of the mayor and commission and of the board as well. So all the sketches that we have, the ideas, we're going to submit them to the board. The board is working on some of their own, and they're going to bring forward a multitude of sketches so you can all pick from. So we're excited to support any board, and at the end of the day, it's about the betterment of our city. So we're excited about working with them. I also wanted to let you know I met with a couple of you last year in regards to the condition of our employee break room. It was pretty much disgusting. And again, we align our words with actions. Whether it's our employees, the members of our community that meet with us in the Northwest Conference Room. Now we have completed that construction thanks to your support. And we have something to be proud of. We are looking to have classes there, community meetings, and now we can, go into that kitchen, and it looks really, really beautiful. And again, something that we're extremely proud of, and we will continue to invest in our internal clients as well as our external clients as well. We are really extremely excited to plan and implement our inaugural BSO and Parks Spring Camp. And this is going to be for kids, youth, 12 to 18 years of age. The majority of our participation in our programs pretty much end when you're 11 or 12. But to be able to have teenagers up to 18 be in a program that's going to be extremely unique, thanks to the support of the funding that you gave us on the budget, is going to really put us on another level in regards to a camp that's going to address a leadership. The theme of the camp is going to be Rise, and every day there's going to be different projects, and it's going to culminate in a Friday community service project. So, day one is going to be respect, and day two is going to be integrity. Day three is going to be, service and excellence and a standard of excellence. So we're really excited to partner up with BSO for this first ever spring camp. And every year we want to augment it, turn it into summer camp. But those teams that we were missing in the past are going to be part of a very, very exclusive and unique program. And we'll be bringing you more information on that as we get closer to the program. I know what resiliency means to Commissioner Odman, Commissioner Llewellyn, and to all of you. So we're going to be revisiting all things resiliency, not just the ongoing projects that we have in place. Record number of drainage projects throughout the year. They are all on time, on every different stages, be it design or construction. We're also hardening our city hall and our fire station, which is extremely important. As you saw earlier, the presentation by our community development director on the text amendment of our seawalls. But we're going to look at building standards, discuss with Commissioner Odman, LED, the different lead certifications of the buildings, and working with our local developers to see if we can continue to elevate our game in all areas of resiliency and really set the tone for best standards in building practices. October 1st, as you know, commenced our fiscal year. We have a record budget. We have a record amount of reserves. Our budget was really something that it was a labor of love with all of you and staff. We want to let you know that HR has been extremely busy. Our BEAM team, our first ever BEAM team, and I know I was discussing this with Commissioner Davis. I know how happy she is. We will hire these individuals. We will make sure that they have their vehicles, their equipment, their tools, their training, and we look forward to the complete BEAM team being deployed sometime December, January. The beach rangers will begin their training. The part-timers that are now going to be full-timers, we look to have that in place by next month in November. All the new positions that you all approved are in process already. The HR position has been filled. We're very excited that we were able to promote from within on this position. The assistant city clerk was filled. And we are very, very excited that you all get to meet Maxine. She's from the Office of the Mayor and Commission and will really be a great liaison to the community. So we hope that you meet her soon. I've been, working with her, seen her yesterday, today, last week, truly fantastic. And we continue to do our due diligence on the selection of the next grill proposal. Like the Vice Mayor said, please use your appropriated budget to visit these places and assess them, from how they greet you to how they maintain their buildings. Building maintenance is very, very important, particularly when you're close to the ocean and to the elements, the food. So it's a really exciting time in our city, and I couldn't be more honored to be your manager. And shout out to our future city attorney, Eve Bootis, and congratulations to our current city attorney who made the decision to bring Eve Bootis on board. And with that, good night, and this concludes my report.
Thank you, City Attorney.
Nothing to add to that. Thank you.
Thank you, City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. One quick meeting reminder, Tuesday, October 26th at 7 p.m. is your regular City Commission meeting. That's all I have.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes,
All right, can I interrupt you 1 second?
absolutely.
Something that we might have discussed, we need to maybe look at is the schedule for the holidays.
11 minutes. We have to be 9 o'clock, 11 minutes.
No, just, are we gonna take off the first meeting in November? The second meeting in November, the second meeting in December that falls in the same week of the holidays? If that's it, that's I'm done.
Tom, did we already do that?
Yes, Mayor, you already did that. You set your schedule.
I must have been taking a nap, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's okay. You just show up by yourself.
I'll debate by myself too. Wait till get me the debate team.
No, I'm coming. I'm going.
All right, thank you.
That we have off? Tom, can you just say the dates again?
What's the only one?
The 23rd.
I'm sorry, I did not hear what you asked.
He wants to know the dates that we have off. A reminder.
Your second meeting in November and December are canceled. November 23rd, you're not meeting, and December 28th, you're not meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, sorry.
Thank you. And with that, we are adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Paying your